God knows when. It's actually 2003. But it is absolutely my pleasure to share with you the secrets of the pet grooming industry so you can provide the same level of quality care to your beloved pets at home as we provide to our beloved pets in our professional pet grooming salon. Guys, tonight we have two very special guests joining us live from their grooming table. Please welcome Rudy and Anthony of Grooming by Rudy. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight.
Of course.
Thank you, Amy.
I am so excited. My heart's jumping out of my chest.
Aw.
I'm so happy to have you here. Excited. My heart's jumping out of my chest. I better pause that. I'm so happy to. There we go. I just want to make sure I can see us. I'm following along on the desktop. Make sure everything looks good for our beautiful viewers. We love you guys. Thank you all for being here. Rudy and Anthony, can you tell us just a little something about yourselves? What do you do? Where are you from?
Well,
dirty Jersey, baby.
Yeah, Jersey, baby, through and through. But I think we should apologize first for our attire.
Yeah,
we didn't plan on this, guys. So honestly, it was just like we both had the
black shirts,
the black shirts with the.
Well, you guys, you look sharp. We're on black.
Thanks, but it wasn't planned.
It wasn't planned.
I was pretty pissed when I got here.
We both had the idea of wearing black makes you look slimmer, all that stuff, but. Father, son, we think alike. So whatever. We have to apologize for trying to look like twins.
Completely unplanned.
You look great. So you're a father-son grooming team.
Yes, definitely. We're Anthony's the only person I trust. So
other than me.
Yeah, we trust you.
I probably trust you more than me, Amy.
Oh, I don't think so. Guys, can you tell me what else you do aside from pet grooming?
Oh, well, we dabbled in comedy for a while. We still do from time to time. So that's what originally when we started YouTube, we were really gonna mesh those two things really, really hard. And then we started falling in love with more of the teaching aspect of grooming. Not to say we're not gonna come out with more funny stuff, when we have time. But yeah, that's he was asking me to do stand-up comedy with him for years, and I was just like, nope, never am I gonna have the strength, the mental strength to do that. And
but you do.
I apparently so. I have horrible stage fright. Hated when I was growing up and had to read like a report in front of my class or anything. Couldn't do any kind of public speaking thing. So I was like never going to be able to do stand-up comedy, but that changed. I don't know. I just went for it, and you just tunnel vision, and
he conquered. He conquered.
Yeah.
Well, I think once you get in the moment, I never thought I would be able to live stream on YouTube in front of people and feel like I was actually sitting with them in their living room, but I literally do.
Yeah.
And you're good at it.
Yep.
Until you do something you don't know. Well, where else can beautiful friends here find you guys?
Mostly our YouTube channel, Grooming by Rudy. That's our biggest social media platform. We when we first started, we started a Facebook and everything, but we accidentally made it a business page instead of a fan page to interact and have fun. So all we get on our Facebook is a lot of what can I make an appointment and where are you guys located? So YouTube is really our biggest. We're very passionate about our channel, the way it's grown, the way it looks, but that's Instagram, Twitter, it's all Grooming by Rudy. It's the same thing.
Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. Check out our podcast.
Yeah.
We love our podcast because it's the one thing that we get to do where we can really let loose and talk to people normally, where we're not actually teaching grooming. When we're teaching grooming, it's a little tough because we have to stay focused on that. But if you check out our Groomer Humor podcast on Pet Life Radio, we talk about all kinds of things like we're doing right now with you.
Yeah, it's a lot like
I love your podcast. I listen to it all the time when I'm grooming. You guys release one once a month, correct?
Yeah.
At least. Usually a lot of times it's two. When we have time, we do one a week, but we haven't had that kind of time in a while ever since AJ was born. For those of you guys who don't know, AJ is my son. So,
And
Yeah.
we congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Check out our latest podcast too. It's called No Comment.
Oh boy, really?
If you like rants, if you like a good rant podcast,
I was actually going to suggest that you guys get yourself an LED light when you do dog nails.
Oh my god,
Hey, we'll talk about that in a minute, okay?
man.
Who'd have known, Amy?
Let me tell you, when
All it
that,
takes,
I
man.
stalk you.
It's it.
when that, let me tell you, those episode that we're talking about of our podcast is just us going off on this rude commenter. The day that comment came in, and he said, "I wanted to," he said nothing else other than we're doing a show on that. And as soon as it's gonna be so bad, like not bad, like unwatchable. Just he's gonna go off.
Yeah. So
it was good. I watched it. I mean, I listened to it, but you also have your podcast up on your YouTube channel, like as the video part of the podcast, which is interesting.
Just started doing that like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. And I linked your YouTube channel for our wonderful friends here in the audience so they can go visit you and like and subscribe and watch your videos and your learning tutorials. I found you guys right when I started doing YouTube. I found you and I really respected you guys right away as mentors for me, not only as a groomer, but also as a YouTuber. I was brand baby new to it.
Thank you.
Wow, that means a lot, Amy.
Yeah.
And I really liked what I saw with you guys. I liked following you. I liked watching your videos. I learned from your videos. You know, we always learn from each other.
Yeah.
So you were always one of my favorites. That's why it is just such a blessing for me and our guest to have you here today live from your grooming table.
Pleasure's all ours.
We love it. And same as, with you, Amy, you when we first started doing YouTube, we just focused on you too. It was like, who's this?
Yeah.
Amy, she
Thank you.
Bobby,
You guys supported me right away. You really did. It blew me away.
Your vibes were phenomenal. We just loved it.
Yeah, we meshed right away. So we're so happy too about that.
And I have also linked Pet Life Radio in the description because I really want our viewers to take advantage of listening to your podcast. Rudy and Anthony are not only a father and son professional dog grooming team, they also have a very successful and helpful YouTube channel called Grooming by Rudy, like we were just talking about. I've linked all of this in the description below, but that's not it, guys. That's not all. You need to know about that podcast. Rudy and Anthony host this podcast called Groomer Humor on Pet Life Radio. What's Pet Life Radio? Pet Life Radio is the largest and number one pet podcast and radio network on the planet, which is fantastic. And they have their own show featuring all original content as weekly pet related talk shows, podcasts. And Rudy and Anthony have their own podcast on Pet Life Radio called Groomer Humor. So that is linked for you guys. I want you to know. Are we ready to jump into the topic tonight, fellas?
I was born ready.
Let's go, baby.
Okay. The topic tonight, Rudy and Anthony and our friends here joining us live, is common struggles of dog grooming. This is a perfect topic for us to talk about. Rudy and Anthony have graciously, obviously, agreed to share more than just that with us right here live tonight. They have something exclusive and authentic for you tonight. And trust me, you will not want to miss it. And it's at the end. And they're probably like, what are you talking about? I'll tell you when it's go time, boys. And it's go time.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
You should be. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Guys, we are going to answer your questions. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions for Rudy and Anthony. So if you have a question, you know how we do it here right now. We hold the dash key on our keyboard or our phone and create a line, and then we ask our question. And after Rudy and Anthony and I are done talking about this whole discussion on the struggles of dog grooming, we're going to get to your questions. So definitely put them in the chat, guys. We will get to you. But first, we're going to jump right into our first topic. And my question for Rudy and Anthony is, what new tools, products, or equipment have transformed any grooming struggles that you experienced and turned them into triumphs? Can you think of any, guys?
Right off the bat, I have to say the Andis 5-speed Excel clipper.
Yeah, your
That
clippers,
changed my life a little bit, Amy,
In
because
what way?
as you know, clippers are really hard. If those RPMs aren't there, if that power's not there, it's grabbing, it's snagging.
Yeah.
Your clippers aren't going through those tough coats. The XL, that 5-speed, as little as it is, it's a tiny little thing. It's smaller than all the other clippers, but it's more powerful. It's kind of like me, short and feisty.
That's
you know,
right. And was it more comfortable to you than Rudy?
At first, no. I have to admit, at first I didn't like it because I was so used to I was using the Andis Super 2-speed, which is
Yes,
a pretty heavy, bulky
it
clipper.
is.
But at first I didn't like it because it was a little too small in my hand. But
yeah, you weren't sold
yeah,
away
it wasn't
on that.
sold right away. But after the performance of it and feeling how light it is, and now I actually grown to love it because it's actually a lot better, much easier to maneuver on the dogs. You can get on the underside a lot easier. Just a better clipper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to chime in just for a second and say when you and I groomed together, yes, guys, the three of us groomed together, and it is on my channel. And it is also, there's two videos on Anthony and Rudy's channel of us grooming together. That was back in the spring of last year, guys.
Is
That
that
was so
already
much
That,
fun.
yeah, it was a year ago. It was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? You had that clipper, Rudy, and
Yeah.
I didn't bring any tools. I think I brought my shears so you could try them, but I didn't really bring many tools because I was like, Rudy's got everything. We'll just share Rudy's tools. And I tried that clipper that you're talking about, the Andis Excel. It's a 5-speed.
Speed
Yeah.
Excel, yeah.
I liked it too. It felt great. And I even said that in the video. So after this video is live, I know a lot of people are going to be like, where am I going to get this? I
Yeah.
will link it in the description below since you brought it up. And I'm so glad that you did.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
a good clipper for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's holding up good for you?
Yeah, yeah. As professional dog groomers, we groom a lot of dogs, so a lot of wear and tear, but they're pretty easy to maintain. So
Good.
Yeah,
That's what we want to hear.
he
yeah,
just did some work
yeah.
on like the first one that you got. Eventually, you got a new one, and he kind of like, what'd you do? Like you
Changes
refurbished like the
Change the
original one.
switch. I changed the
Yeah.
switch, and I changed the drive assembly.
Yeah.
And
And that's typical maintenance.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Not
Another
everybody does it themselves.
right.
Rudy and Anthony do a lot of their maintenance on their tools and products. In fact, when I was working with them and got the tour of their facility, which is beautiful, um, in the back there's like a utility setup with a workbench, and I found out that Rudy sharpens all his shears
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do
I don't touch.
himself.
all my own maintenance. I refurbish clippers. I do all of my sharpening, my shears, my blades. I just hands on like that, and it
Yeah,
saves money. It saves a lot of money.
it really does. And see, I don't do that. I don't have those abilities. So I clearly know the money that you're saving yourself. And that is a great thing to do for your business if you can.
Yeah, 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 and
I mean, you should show her how to do it.
yeah. I mean,
Like clipper stuff. It's not that. It's some of it is self-explanatory.
I
well,
can change a blade drive or the blade hinge. I do that a lot,
Yeah.
but I try not to get too deep into the clipper stuff because it's just not my area. But
Mm.
but you could learn me, Rudy, next time we're together.
Change the motor.
or if you have blades that are dull, just send me your blades. I'll sharpen all your blades.
That's the easier thing to do. We'll just
Well,
do
if I'm sending them to you, I'm paying you because otherwise I'm sending them to you or somebody else. You don't work for free. That's what we're talking about. We're going to get down deeper today about, the finances of dog grooming, and we're going to talk about that. But since we were talking about new products and tools that you love, what old tools, products, or equipment have you reverted back to because they simply just didn't produce the results that you were looking for when you tried to replace it with a new tool, product, or equipment? Can you think of anything, guys?
For me, it's more the mechanical tools. And we've talked about it in the past. As groomers, we get used to something. It's like, I guess, like a baseball player has his favorite glove or his favorite bat.
Yep.
I can't let go of like I have a top performance nail grinder. It's a plug-in nail grinder. I just keep fixing it and using it over. I can't let go of that because
You
I've tried.
really like it.
Yeah, and also my nail clippers. I have these great little, medium-sized nail clippers that I just continue to grab. Even when I get a new pair, I don't feel comfortable with that new pair right away. So I'll grab that old pair and use those because I know I could do it quicker. And I slowly wean into the new products. It doesn't happen for me anyway. That's the way I am. It doesn't happen overnight. Like I just can't get into a new product right away. I have to really test it. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, what is that nail trimmer? So we
It-
know. Do you
It's a
know?
it's top performance.
Okay.
Made by Top Performance. It's not expensive. It's very inexpensive.
Is it
Uh,
like a medium size? It's not a big one. It's not too bulky.
yeah, I think it's actually called a small. Uh,
Yeah,
Okay.
not big.
they have small and large, but it really fits into your hand really well.
That's what's important.
It fits into the big bulky clippers. We don't do a whole lot of big dogs anymore, so that clipper is just perfect for us.
Yeah. But here's the thing, you probably could do the nails on a big dog with that clipper anyway, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because it's wide enough.
Yeah.
It,
My favorite is the Miller's Forge
yeah,
plier style. It's small,
sure.
really small. And I like it for the reasons you're talking about. It just fits in my hand. I've gotten new clippers. I've gotten new nail trimmers sent to me with other products and thought, oh, I'll try that. First try, first thing I notice, I hear pop as
Yep,
soon as it cuts in it. Dogs don't like that.
yep. Crunches. Yeah, yep. It crunches the nail.
Yeah.
Not
They
smooth.
like a nice, quick, smooth, quiet clip.
Yep. That's why it needs to be sharp. It needs to be real
Yeah.
sharp. Yep.
Do you
Yep.
sharpen your nail trimmers too, Rudy, by the way?
No, I don't do that.
You
And 'cause,
we that would be odd to do that, wouldn't it?
Hope you can you?
you can, but
I
it's
guess you'd
not.
have to take it apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. You're better
No,
off a new one. You
they're
know.
so inexpensive.
I think they're like maybe at top like $12.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I get you.
yeah.
Is there
There's
any other products, new products?
new
I'm
you
sorry, old products that you thought, "Oh, I got a new one of this." Perhaps it's a clipper or say, you had a favorite shampoo for a long time, and then you tried something else and you said, "Oh, heck no," and you went back to the old faithful. Can you think of anything else?
I mean, in general, shampoos have been you know how shampoos are. Like you can, uh, I've gone back and forth on shampoos so many times that shampoos actually more than anything fit what you asked before with the like in general some of the new hypoallergenic stuff, the oatmeal based, any some of these medicated shampoos were
Mhm.
a game changer. We still try new ones, but it like just like 5 years ago the options were not there for dogs that had skin issues. It just wasn't. Like it was like we would have a few oatmeal shampoos lying around, um and it was like, if this doesn't work, then whatever, Tropiclean, like that kind of stuff. Like, but it's like, oh, if that didn't help the skin, it's like there's only I don't know what to do now. Forget it. Like the market is so flooded that sometimes that's a bad thing. But I'd rather have options and be able to try other things. That the amount of hypoallergenic skincare shampoos that have come out in just like I said, like in the last 5 years are astounding. They're so vast. Like that was
Yeah.
a huge.
And you know what? A lot of brands, shampoos and conditioners are really realizing that us pet parents and us pet groomers are looking for the natural, biodegradable, no dyes, no fake crap. They know we're looking for it, so they're almost forced to produce it.
Ah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
good. Yeah.
And they've
Yeah,
gotten so much better. Back in the day, like in the 80s and early 90s, your only option were like tar and aloe
yeah,
shampoo. Like there was no. I love like what Anthony was saying, like the shampoo specifics now, where you have your hypoallergenics, your anti-itch. You can really pinpoint and fix problems. If a dog's coming in with any kind of, even like a flea bite dermatitis, you could treat it. Not always a vet visit now. And
Yeah.
it's due in part to these great shampoo companies, Earth Bath, Tropiclean, you name it. Even Double K, who's an old company that
Hmm.
has, like you just said, Amy, has stepped up in helping groomers help dogs, so that it's not always a vet visit. It's not always get your dog on on a cortisone shot and all that stuff. We can at least aid in the problem.
Sure. As professional groomers, we can start pushing it in the right direction immediately.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't have that option.
No,
No.
you're right.
Just didn't have that. It was like, yeah, I'll try this tar and aloe shampoo, or I'll try this new conditioner, see if it helps. And in a lot of cases, it made the problem even worse
It
because
was too drying.
too
Yeah.
drying.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you're saying, just too many. It was still chemical based, where
Yeah.
now it's so much better. So shampoos are just phenomenal. I love the shampoo market.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Shampoo and conditioner is that's my jam. I'm all about it. Guys, while you were mentioning, back grooming back in the 80s and all that, Rudy, when did you start grooming? Where did you get your certification? And when did Anthony come on board?
I started grooming in 1985. It was, yeah, long time ago. I think, maybe 19 years old, and it's a tough go for me. And not to get into that, I you know started hanging around with definitely the wrong people, and grooming definitely saved my life. So I ended up always I love animals, so I ended up going to Nash Academy of Animal Arts.
One of the
At
best schools, guys. That's one of the best schools.
Thanks. Yeah, it was great, and I met so many great people. I had the luxury of being able to learn under guys like John Batsko, John Nash, Vivian Nash, Joey
These
Villa,
are icons in the
Loretta.
industry.
So when I started, they were all my teachers. They were my instructors. I learned from Loretta Voigt. Um, John Statsko was a big part of my staying in it. Because sometimes you start grooming, you fade out of it very quickly. And John
Yeah.
Statsko, iconic in helping me go through the whole process. And it's a slow, hard process. But I started there. Ended up working for a really good friend of mine. His name is Glenn. He had a very, very busy grooming shop back in the early 80s. I mean, we were doing 20, 30 dogs a day, between maybe three groomers and a bather. And I started with bathing there. And at that time, I was working out of my house, just trying to make as much money as I could. And at the time, you were only pulling in maybe about $25, $30 a dog. I mean, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And working just as hard as you are now, the work less. But I ended up um, opening up my own store, I would say back in, I think it was like maybe 1998. And Anthony jumped on, but Anthony was always at my shop on the weekends, even as a little kid at like 12 years old. But maybe I say in 2003, Anthony was, I say he was like maybe 15,
I was
16.
I was in high school.
He was working on the weekends, and
I'd work every Saturday,
yeah.
and then when I got my license, my driver's license, I would drive here every day after school just to like see if he needed anything, because you were working he was working kind of like later hours at the time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
nowadays we try to we finish up. A lot of times we're out of here by like 3 or 4, but back then it was like 5, 6. So
Yes.
I got my senior year is when I started coming here like every day, and then I don't know, after I tried college, that didn't work. So once that didn't work, I just started working here full time, and I've
I'm
dabbled.
sure the two of you worked so well together. It was kind of and your dad had already built up a successful grooming business. So it was like, hey, you want to do this?
Yeah, yeah. At the time, I was doing like maybe 10 dogs, 11 dogs a day on my own, 6 days a week. I was absolutely killing myself because
Yeah.
bought a house. I had Anthony. I have another son, Rudy, as you know, and money was just necessary. But when Anthony hopped on board, I'll tell you, he was a natural. Like Anthony is just an absolute natural. I was surprised at how quickly Anthony could bathe the dog. It was like, wow, he's really, really good. He must have gotten that way from watching me, but it wasn't watching me. It was just that
Yeah, it's in there.
he's in there. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Handled dogs. He was great with just handling dogs, getting dogs in and out of cages, throwing them up on the drying table. I never really had to ask Anthony to do much. Like if he saw a wet dog in the cage, he'd say, "Dad, you want me to fluff that dog so all the dogs are all dry and ready for you?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, dude, do it."
That's what I want.
Yeah. So Anthony just, I become completely dependent on him, and as I said, in a way I almost feel guilty because I feel like maybe he could have did something else, but he stuck around, and so be it. We
That
work.
was Anthony's decision, right, Anthony?
Well, yeah, I stepped away once or twice, in my 20s, like,
Hmm.
oh, job opportunity at this place, and then
Yeah.
most recently I worked at it's called Tool and Die. It was a metal stamping factory, basically. It's
Yeah,
yeah. I did that for 3 months. Hated it. Um,
very repetitious.
yeah, and
Dangerous.
confusing, very dangerous. I almost lost an eye. There's these big metal tables. Yeah, yeah. Like, and it was somebody else's fault, clearly, and I felt like punching the guy, but it's like whatever. Uh, it was constant money. There was no confusion as far as like what time am I going to be home today. It was all very, I'm not used to that. I've always hung out with him at the shop, so it was like on weekends when I would come to his shop as a little kid, I never knew what time we were going to be done when the dogs were done.
Yeah,
When I stepped away doing the tool and die job, it was very simple, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, two breaks. But it was very a dangerous job, and what killed me the most was it just wasn't there was no creativity to it. It was very I'm punching stuff into the computer. I guess it felt cool. You load up this big machine. I'm operating these four huge machines. It felt kind of cool, but I found myself writing stuff down in my notebook, like oh, what would be a cool top 10 horror movie list? I don't know, stupid, just
yeah.
creative things.
Your mind was like, this is not challenging
No,
my creative bone.
it wasn't. And grooming is built in. It's
Yeah.
so artistic.
And rewarding.
It's very yeah. It's very. There was nothing rewarding about. Okay, cool. I just made that machine make 5,000 pieces of that little thing. The machine did it all. I didn't do anything. I punched in the code in the computer. It wasn't fun. I missed him.
Yeah.
My dad. I'm used to him. I'm used to hanging out with him every day.
It was weird.
It was so bizarre.
Aw,
It was so
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it
so
was.
it's kind of nice that you tried those few things, and I'm sure Rudy is looking at it like I want him to know that there is other things out there, and maybe this isn't what's going to make him happy. You were probably like, go do it, Anthony, do it. And but you naturally brought yourself back together in the grooming salon, Anthony, because you just felt like that was where you could be you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
exactly what happened.
It's the only place I can be. I even was going to be a firefighter at one point. I was
Oh,
doing volunteer firefighting not far from here, and then it came time to do the academy, and I forget how long it was. It was like you had two options. It was like either going to be a couple of weeks or like a couple of months. And as
hmm,
soon as I found that out, I was like, "No, I'm not leaving him like that. I don't want to do this bad enough. Dangerous too. Not that this isn't,
very.
but
Yeah,
um,
this is actually.
but God willing, you don't have to run into a burning building. So I was like, screw that too. I don't want to do that. That's way too dangerous. And again, missed him. Don't want to step away from this. I actually, that would have been a good setup for us because firefighters, they tend to work 1 day on, 3 days off. So I actually would have still been able to help him a fair amount. But
Yeah,
again, it's just still not this. It just wasn't for me. I don't know.
yeah.
This animals, and if we ever stop doing this, I'd probably still be doing YouTube in some capacity, like in filming things, making movies. I don't know, like something like
Because it's creative, and you can express the stories through video, and you like, because even the grooming videos like you guys do and I do, they are a story. It's telling a story, but it is at the same time instructional and educational, you
Yep.
know. I
Yeah.
enjoy making the videos too, so I can
Oh,
relate to you on that.
sure.
Yeah.
I think invigorated us,
It did.
Amy, and you as well. Just doing the videos. Um, we get a chance to show what we do, and because we love it, and we want other people to love it too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when you
and
really
inspire.
Mhm.
love something, you want to share it. You want to share it. So
Yeah, and you also want to help, like that. I know that's one of the big things about your channel is helping people learn to do something safe and how to approach that certain method or step of the groom. So it's all about everybody wins, especially the pet.
sure,
Yeah.
the pet
Yeah,
wins. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, that kind of flows into our next little subtopic here. What struggles have you experienced over your many years of professional dog grooming, together or separate, when working with difficult or unpredictable dogs? What struggles have you dealt with? Have you been faced with? How did you move forward with those dogs? Or
Yeah.
did you?
How long is this? Is this live
Yeah.
stream, Amy?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's because
I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a big question.
yeah, that goes.
So
Yeah.
Well,
the struggles, what have you experienced? What are some of the ones that stand out the most? And how did you overcome that situation with that dog, or did you overcome it?
I yeah. So dogs are they're animals with huge teeth, canines, and they can be very damaging if not handled correctly, right? And so I think that some of the struggles, there's a lot of parts to that, because you're not just battling the dog, you're actually trying to communicate with the owner. So that's the dog is part of it, but then the owner's the other part of it. And you can have a really unruly golden retriever coming in that just doesn't want to be touched. It bites its owner. You
Mm.
know, it may have
Yeah.
yeah, it may have bitten another dog in the dog park, and now you're expected to groom this dog. So here's this highly aggressive animal that wants no part of grooming at all. That's
Mhm.
snarling at you, that's barking at you, that's growling at you simply by looking at it. But you're expected to do this brush out and this rake out. I'm going to yank on this dog now and get this undercoat out with this rake, right? Definitely going to clip all these nails. And the struggle is, number one, sizing up that dog. Can I even do this? Is this dog going to kill me right now? Is this dog going to do so much damage to me that I have to go to the hospital? Do I even?
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. But you take the leash, you calm down, and you grab the leash, and you don't even know what's about to happen. It's just, you as the groomer don't know, and you try to dog, and you tell the owner, leave. You leave. Let me deal with this dog one on one. Take him in the back. Put him in the crate. See how he does. Just put him in. See if he calms down. And half the time, discuss it with Anthony. I'll say, Ant, what are we doing? What
mhm.
what what are we doing here? Do we do this dog? Do we not do this dog? Do we attempt to do this dog? Uh,
Mhm.
and you let a half an hour go by. You take in a couple more dogs that you're used to grooming, and they're going to be fine. And all of a sudden, the dog's kind of like just hanging. He's okay. You pull him out of the cage, and sometimes it's a go, and sometimes it's not. And y- you know, you might not be able to do that dog that day. It
Mhm.
might be this was just a visit. You know, uh, you send him home and you bring him back another day, or you get through your day and you do them at night and just exclusively, and maybe we'll just work on this dog this way. As a groomer, we don't have to worry about getting these other 5 dogs out and this dog. We just work on your dog specifically. Anthony has laid on the floor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to come here, buddy. Just
Yeah.
laying,
Yeah.
more like in a more of maybe, a submissive
Yeah.
posture, just to let the dog know we're no threat. We're not. You know, um,
Dogs
but
pick up on body language and
Yep.
our
yeah,
vibrations, our feelings, our emotions, even if we're not talking about them, they can pick up on that.
yeah. And some dogs you can break through and get it done, and you may have to muzzle them. Sometimes you'll have to muzzle a dog, or a lot of dogs hate their nails being clipped. It's one of the things that most dogs tend to not like. You may have to just muzzle them on nails. You may have to muzzle them when doing ears, but then you might find, like, he's pretty good for everything else. He lets
Yeah.
me he lets me brush him. I just have to muzzle him on nails. So you muzzle him on the nails and you get it done as possible, so that the dog's not stressing. And and maybe you just tip. We always say tip instead of clip right off the bat. But maybe I'm going to be really, really careful and just tip the nail to gain this dog's trust. And then as time goes on, maybe I'll go a little further and further because he's letting me. um, and other times it's just a no-go. Sometimes you just might have to say, listen, we just can't do your dog. and
Yeah.
and that
I
happens.
want people to hear that. That is a very strong message. Sometimes that is the outcome. I just can't groom your dog. And a lot of it has to do with not the lack of socialization to the grooming process or groomer hopping. They wait till the dog has got pounds of undercoat to take him to a professional groomer, and he doesn't know what this grooming salon is. You want him up on a grooming table, he says this is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced because he's never experienced anything like it. It's so uncommon to him. And in that case, it becomes unsafe for a groomer to put themselves in that situation.
Yeah, and it's not breed specific either. It's not just it could be a little Shih Tzu. It could be a little Shih Tzu that has mats under the eyes that you're trying to get out with a 10 blade or a 15 blade because it's so matted, and they're trying to bite the blade. They grab
And they
hold.
can cut their tongue.
Now they're cut. Now it's a
Mhm.
vet. And that's one of the struggles. And dogs biting the clipper is just, it's terrifying, because that it's going to do some serious damage to either their lip, their tongue. Um, and then trying to explain to the owner that your dog's acting. Owners, a lot of owners, not all owners, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that their dog is not taken to the grooming or not doing well, and I understand that. But at the same time, if you have that owner that understands that, and you can talk to them and say, hey, and they say something like do whatever you can, it takes the pressure off of you as a groomer. It's like if you're not expecting much, you don't have this high expectation, but it's the owner that wants to sit there and say, my dog is good, my dog's not bad, and I want you to do a good job. Where it's like, hey, now we can't groom your dog. I'm not going to do that to myself or your dog.
That's
Just
right. And you have to make that decision. You have to make that call because the owner's just not, they're not listening, they're not understanding. A lot of people view a pet groomer, you know, they're going to take their dog to a pet groomer. A lot of people view that as, oh, my dog needs groomed. I take it to the pet groomer. They're professional. Yes, we know how to do it. We are skilled. We have an extremely safe setup for your dog. We have carefully selected all the tools and products and equipment that we're going to use on your dog. But if
yeah,
I can't work with your dog, I'm not putting myself and your dog in jeopardy because they can hurt themselves too, as you just said,
yeah, yeah,
Well,
by not
that's
being properly socialized to grooming.
yeah, that what one of the things that makes grooming a dog, especially an unpredictable one, that makes it so scary is a good example is a rear end accident. If you're the person who rear-ended somebody, it's your fault. It doesn't matter. Nobody wants to hit. There's no.
yeah,
That's what being a groomer's like. You're the rear ender. You're the one whose fault it is, no matter
Right.
what. Oh, the car in front of me stopped short. Oh, the dog moved its head just as I was. It's no matter what, it's your fault because you're the professional. So
yeah,
you have to be smart enough or to just know I can't work on your dog. The best of dogs in the world could still accidentally get hurt on a grooming table. But that's why grooming is so scary. Uh, as a groomer, you're just petrified all the time. You have to lock, because you're the car that you're not the car that gets rear-ended. You're the person who rear-ended somebody
Yeah,
if something goes wrong. So you have to be so diligent and so smart and so good. You have to be good at it.
and I want to
Yeah.
I want to make a suggestion to a new pet owner, because you could limit that. You can limit that from happening by, number one, um, starting your dog off real early. Okay, if you start your dog off real early, you're going to limit that problem. If you work on your dog at home, you're going to limit that problem. So it's
Absolutely. Working with your dog at home, getting them up on maybe a table. If you're struggling to get them on the grooming table, which lowers, maybe if they want to work with you, then they can continue to work with just training the dog to be up on an elevated area. And they don't have to practice any type of grooming. They can just practice touching the dog when it's up there, handling the dog, making him stand so that he can help. It helps the dog be able to work with the groomer, and that's a great suggestion.
yeah.
That stuff goes such a long
Yeah,
way. It
and regular scheduling. Come in often. Don't wait until the dog is completely matted and now it's a big job. It's a big to do.
Mhm.
Um, don't wait on that.
'Cause he's gonna hate it.
He's
Mhm.
gonna hate it.
Yeah.
And if it's a dog that doesn't like the grooming, doesn't like the brush, suggest the really short haircut so he doesn't have to go through all that yanking. Don't do what the dog hates the most. You're just gonna make the dog hate it more. So
That's
suggest
right.
5 blade, a 7F, short haircut. Do it once, every couple of months, and it's just much easier on the dog.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. I'm so glad that you guys were able to share some of your experiences. It makes me feel good as a groomer to know that I'm not the only one that has experienced this. And at this point, I groom all dogs that I have been working with for a long time, so I know what to predict. And if they were unpredictable, they're not on my schedule. They're gone, and somebody else replaced them. And I'm sure that's where you're at in your business too.
We've
Absolutely.
definitely reached that point.
Yeah,
W-
and we can tell. Yeah, we could tell right away too. Amy, you almost become a dog after doing this for so long.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
start you start to sense and think like a dog. Like, I'll look at a dog and kind of like, I'm smelling him too. Are you gonna bite me? You
Yeah.
sound like you might bite me. You know what I mean?
Pretty bad when you start sniffing out humans that you meet. Instead of a handshake, you're like,
I don't know about this.
Well, you have a really good scent on dogs that are cage shy.
Oh yeah,
He and I'm terrible at that.
yeah,
I'm still careful, but
yeah,
he can tell a dog is cage shy before we even walk over to the cage. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, be careful taking that dog. He's cage shy." And I'll be like, "Dad, I was just walking up to him and he was licking my hand. What are you
yeah,
talking about?"
yeah.
I'll open the cage, the dog will start snarling. I said, "It's the weird. You're, you're
you
weird."
jinxed him, Rudy.
Yeah,
I'm back to the
but
factory.
here, let's explain let's explain cage shy for a second, because a lot of people might not know what cage shy is, right?
Yes.
So cage shy is a dog that is absolutely wonderful for everything else. It lets you groom it. It doesn't bite when you try to clip its nails or
Yeah.
do its ears. It's perfect for the grooming. But if you put it in a cage, it will cower to the back of the cage, protecting its environment. And if you reach for it, it will snap at you like a cobra, you
They're
know,
protecting themselves.
protecting themselves. So what they are cage shy, meaning they're just terrified of their environment when they're in an enclosed space, and
Mhm.
they instinctively, like a wolf, will protect its den. Okay, from for its puppy, they instinctively protect their surroundings, and they will bite you, and they'll bite
Yeah.
you bad. The first time
Yes.
I got bitten was by a Shih Tzu, and it was cage shy. And I swear, Amy, this dog bit me about 4 times before I even knew I got bitten. Yep,
Yeah.
I fainted. I went, ow, and I looked at my hand and went, you know, ow,
Oh
you
no.
know.
Well, and absolutely, that's how quickly it happens. And so if you kind of get the feeling that a dog is cornering themselves and putting themselves back in a cage, if you do put them in a cage, a holding crate or something, you can see that I'm in protection mode and I'm protecting myself from everything out there. including the people. So what you do in those situations is obviously your salon is set up that the dogs that you may be putting in a cage are not able to run out the door. If you open the cage door and let the dog willingly come out, now that he's out in the open,
Yeah.
now you're kind of all he's got.
Yeah.
So if you can get him, hey buddy, come on over. If you can get that dog to come to you, you're starting to break down those walls. And so then we know he never goes back in the crate. We will leash him to the wall. We have hooks on the wall. We keep him on his leash and we will leash him to the wall. When he's in a crate, he feels threatened because he's already a little nervous about his surroundings.
And now, like you said, now you know that dog. Now you know, and
Yeah.
again, that's one of the challenges of dog grooming is just sizing up a dog. You have to. There's no other way to learn but the hard way with dog grooming. You just learn. Anthony's funny because Anthony gives every dog the benefit of the doubt.
I do.
He's like,
I really
he's
do.
so cute and this and that. It's like, but that dog is what? And sometimes Anthony surprises me because it's like, well, he tried to bite me, but he's licking
He likes
you.
me. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I've definitely.
Oh, I know what you're saying. They
Yeah.
have these spidey senses that we don't. Dogs do. They have senses we don't. Maybe he sensed a little apprehension from Rudy, that Rudy doesn't know if he can trust me. And then there's Anthony. Hey, man, I trust everybody. The dog goes, I like that vibe.
There you go.
That's kind
That's
of.
true. That's it.
We have a little trick. It's a little deceptive, but just in case anybody's in trouble with it, because when you have a cage shy dog and there's no leash on it in the cage, or it took it off, or you have no way to even try to pull it out, you could do. It's a little deceiving, but it gets the dog out of the cage sometimes. Get their leash, their like home leash, their harness. They think they're going home, but they're out of the cage
They're
now.
out of the cage.
That's perfect.
Feel guilty, just bring their stuff because they love their stuff.
They love their stuff.
This is your stuff. Got your stuff. Like if you feel guilty about deceiving them, bring the stuff to the table and let it hang. It'll calm them down.
Yeah.
It just saying if your cage is on the ground or whatever, and they could just walk out on their own. If you grab their stuff, a lot of times they come out. It's better than getting bit or stressing them out. And I'd rather them think they're going home for 5 seconds, and at least now they're.
You're so right.
It's a good little trick. Doesn't always work, but 80% of the time it does. It's a good one.
Yes, and people should give that a shot if they have a dog that they did put into a cage or an area, and the dog is acting protective of himself. Don't go for the dog because he's going to protect himself. Go get his stuff, and you're right. They know it's their stuff. Oh, you got my leash and my collar. I'm going home.
Yeah, I feel bad, but
no, hey.
Out of the cage, pal.
It's safe.
All.
It's safe.
It's better
than
safe. Reaching in. You're
that
not like
is great advice.
Yeah.
That is a good one. You are so smart, Ann. Oh my gosh.
What are you gonna do?
He got it from Dad.
Chip off the old block, right? Well, let's talk about the next topic. I'm excited to hear this. So, Anthony, Rudy, why did you decide to open your dog grooming business in your current storefront location, which is a beautiful, high traffic area? And what struggles did you face in doing so? You guys have a beautiful salon, and I'm sure it costs a little bit of money.
Yeah.
How did you choose to do this? Why did you choose that one? Did you struggle to make this happen?
I definitely know the hardest struggle of getting when we moved here was the damn we can't use our tubs thing. We actually posted a video about it and everything.
Yeah, the reason why we ended up with this big store, in all honesty, is because I always dreamed of this, Amy. I dreamed of this store. I knew, and you knew that dog grooming would just do what it's doing now. It would get big, and people would want to know what we do, right?
Yeah.
So I started very, very small. I started in my basement. Then I rented a small room in the back of a pet store, and then I rented my first storefront, which was a small storefront right here in the same mall, but it was tiny. It was a tiny little store. But again, thinking and dreaming of this beautiful store was always in my mind. So getting into that manifestation thing, what happened was one of my clients actually crashed into my store.
Oh my! Like broke through the windows.
Broke through the window, drove her car right
drove
into
the
my store.
Her dog
Oh,
jumped
shoot.
on her foot.
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Yeah. So what happened was I had, of course, I had to call the mall, and I called the mall management. His name is Eden. He's a really nice guy. And I said, "Hey, Eden, we have a little situation. Somebody drove into the store." He goes, "Oh man," he goes, "Can you open the front door?" I said, "Well, yeah, I gotta shimmy it, but I can open it and still, you know." He goes, "Well, we're gonna move you anyway," and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "We'll fix the glass and everything, but we're gonna move you to a different spot anyway." And I was like, what are you talking about? Somebody crashed into the building. I don't want to move. I don't want to move.
Yeah.
But then he said, "Rudy, let's talk." He pulled me and Anthony aside and he said, "Listen, we're gonna move you to this big spot here. Um, are you down for it?" And me and Anthony were like, "Dude, we could film in here."
Yeah.
We were just in yes mode. So really, with the dream and the manifesting and a little help from God, honestly, it fell into our laps, Amy. This place fell into our laps. It really did. I have to, it's not that, and not to say that we didn't work really, really hard for it. We did.
Oh,
We
I know
worked.
you did.
We worked very hard for it, but you know, it's it was an opportunity, and this became an opportunity for us, and it changed our lives because we just started YouTube, and we always talked about, man, imagine if we had a studio, more space to film like that.
Better lights, better
Oh,
everything. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, the lady drives into the building, and 6 months later we have it.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Did you
God worked.
send her flowers?
We still
Groom her dog.
we still groom her
She
dog.
she was
Did you
such.
tell her she got you in the Taj Mahal?
We did.
She I don't know what's funny that you're each other's good luck charms because
Yeah.
she ended up telling us that she was going to AC or
Yeah.
something, and we were like, oh, put we gave her numbers or something.
She called to cancel an appointment
Yeah.
from AC because she couldn't bring her dog. So I said, "Oh, I said, put 10 chips on 17 if you're playing roulette." She goes, "Okay." She calls me back 30 seconds later, says, "Rudy, you're not going to believe it. I just hit on 17 for $300."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think the two of you should split lottery tickets every week between her luck and your luck.
yeah.
All it took was her crashing into the
Crashing
store,
into the building.
and
Wow.
next
So
thing
what
you
were
know,
you saying, Anthony, about the tubs? You said we couldn't
Oh, yeah.
use the tubs?
yeah. So when we first moved in, and I've my stance has changed a little bit because they make them differently now. But we have porcelain. You've seen them. We have
Yes.
don't have the metal tubs. I looked into them a little bit after we made this video, kind of crapping all over the metal tubs. I realized they are designed better than I gave them credit for. But regardless, we are very married to the tubs that we use. We're just very used to them. They're measured to our height and everything.
Right, to you.
Yeah, there's no rough edges on them or whatever. And
Right.
we had this place all measured out to the specific tub that we had in our old spot, and we were just going to times that by two because now we have room for two tubs.
Yeah.
And during the inspection, like the city inspection, he just for was some reason the inspector was like, you can't use those tubs, and we were like, well, those metal tubs that we don't really like using to begin with, they're not going to fit. It's going to look terrible. So aesthetically, it's going to be bad. Physically, we're just you know how they are. They're lower. They're
Yeah.
so have you use metal
You have
ones?
the stainless steel.
You have the
tubs.
stainless. Yeah, those. Actually,
That's nice.
those weren't the ones we were looking at. We
Well,
were looking.
that's a nice tub. Alex and I shopped all the tubs before we made our decision, and there was a lot of shopping around to do.
Yeah, see those are really not a lot, but those are scary to shop for because some of them look great in a picture, and then you see it in person or whatever, and it's like, ah, this is I got to go all the way down here and get the dog. It's so
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that
you
look,
don't want to bend. You don't
yeah,
want that.
and it got real scary, not just because we weren't used to those kinds of tubs anyway, but it was also like the measurements are going to be all off. These tubs are huge or too small.
They already built the framing.
They already built it. Yeah.
And then
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would have had to reconstruct the whole thing.
It was so scary because we were just like, we cannot put those tubs here. We were getting ready to put them like in our back area here, that where we are doing the show with you right now, just because what other choice do we have? The tubs can't go there. It's going to have to be this weird grooming table section instead of where the tubs, and the plumbing was all set. It was a nightmare. It was so scary because it was just like, we knew it. We knew something was going to happen, but it didn't.
But did you convince him, the inspector, to approve it?
There was no code. So I had called him and I asked them, I said, well, okay, well, let's say somebody's putting up a hotel. They're using porcelain tubs. How come they're allowed to do that?
Yeah.
And then he said, I'm going to find the code, but there was no code.
He couldn't find it.
No, because there was no code against it. So it was really just more like his opinion that he didn't want it.
It was bizarre.
It was like, and then he pretty much had to okay it because he couldn't come up with a code to restrict it.
That's right. Yeah. But, thank goodness.
Yeah. And like Anthony said, they're custom built, and
they're nice. I thought it was really a nice setup.
Thanks.
Your grooming area, your tubs, your washer and dryer's right there. You have a utility sink if you need that too. It's all right there. All the water stuff is right there. The grooming area is way out in the open, plenty of room. You guys have a great setup, and I'm glad everything worked out with that tub.
We're blessed to have it. Like we didn't do a whole. We're blessed to have it.
Yeah,
we're so appreciative.
We're very happy here.
Yeah.
Have you guys done a video on your channel for our viewers here of your shop tour?
Yeah. Well, not a full-fledged like top to bottom tour. We did a lot of tour videos when they were putting it together. That's why I was saying when the tub thing happened, we even posted like an update on that where it's like, guys, we might not be able to use our tubs. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? It's not, the videos didn't really do very well. It wasn't for clicks. It was more just like, hey, this is what's going on.
It was for your audience that truly follows you. Yes.
Yeah. So
if anybody's interested in anything like that, you can see the shop when it was bare bones.
Gutted. Yeah.
It was gutted. There's videos on our channel.
On your channel. Well, maybe a future video you could do an actual walkthrough with the camera as coming into the waiting area. What it's like to be at the reception desk, what it's like to come on back into the salon where Rudy does his sharpening, and you guys actually have a full kitchen, a bathroom.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful setup that's very comfortable for you, even in your downtime, to do other business and paperwork and calls. You're not just sitting at a desk. It's a comfortable space.
We're very thankful. Our earlier videos, a lot of them are all in the old spot. You could see the difference. It's tiny. Our old videos, anything behind the camera and me, that's it. There's nothing there. That's all. And my dad's grooming table. That was the whole store. And the bathroom is behind me. That's it.
Well, we would love to see that tour. I'm sure a lot of people out on YouTube would love to see it, but we would love to see it, your setup, because it inspires other people who are creating. A lot of people these days create an in-home, not as a groomer, an in-home bathing area for their pets. This is big. Alex and I are getting ready to build a house. And that is a very popular thing right now, is people do you want to build a pet station into your garage with hot and cold water? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I got all my, I'm good. I'm bringing it with me. But how cool is that people are doing that? So I am just very happy about that. But somebody to see your video, even if they're not going to be a professional groomer, can say, that is a great setup. I want to mimic that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We actually totally planned on doing that. The only reason why we didn't is because the place was an absolute wreck when we first moved in, because once the store was finished, we had like 2 days to move everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just boxes and boxes and equipment and just so we were
disarray.
We got to get this place cleaned up before we do this video. And I actually haven't even thought about it since. That's a good point.
We beg of you to. I would love to. I've seen your shop. I love it. I would love for our friends to see it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I would do that.
All right. You're the cameraman. I'm going to give you a call, Anthony, when I don't find the video. Anthony, I'm going through your channel and I can't find the video of touring your salon.
You know what? You know what's funny, and to everybody watching, she's not even lying. You when we did our first a live stream at the dog expo when we were with you, and you were like, "Oh, Anthony, you had so much fun. You got to do this more. You got to do this more." Amy was texting me like a week later, "Dude, how come you haven't live streamed since? You said you're going to. What does she? You're not even kidding. You stay honest with stuff."
Because your audience would love it if you did.
They would.
I know you guys are very busy.
Yeah.
Grooming, and now Anthony's a father of a young little baby boy, and he's a husband, and
Yeah.
you're all busy. I know, but don't forget about us.
I don't have an because you're all those things too,
Yeah.
and it's not you
Yeah.
you do it. I don't maybe I'm stupid or lazy. I don't know.
We'll get
No, you're not neither. You're just busy.
Well,
But
maybe
I'll send you text messages every now and then when I don't see the video.
Yeah.
Get on that.
Okay, I will.
All right. Now, hey guys, let's move on a little bit here. What would you consider the most challenging part of dog grooming for you when you started this journey versus today? So, when you started, what would you consider the most challenging part of dog grooming? And now, what is the most challenging part? Because maybe you found better ways, but there's still things you struggle with.
Right off the bat, confidence. This dog grooming is very, very difficult. This is a difficult thing. Especially on a professional. Uh, if you're grooming your own dog at home, it's a whole different thing. It's your dog. Something happens. It's your dog. But on a professional level, when you're working on multiple dogs, and there's no room for mistake. There's no room for error. Confidence is key. You have to be a super confident person to be a professional dog groomer, at least in grooming.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Yes, and just establishing rapport with dogs. Something you have to do like instantaneously. You have to. So for me, that was a challenge. And of course the fear of getting bitten. Of hurting a dog. When people meet a dog, if you see a dog walking in the park, one of the first things that people will say is your dog friendly? Does he bite? Because dogs bite sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So getting bitten was a big challenge. Hurting them in any way, nicking them, cutting them, and also like, is the client going to approve? Do they like haircut? Do they like what I just did? It's so much pressure.
It is.
Yeah, as far as actually grooming, it's a lot of pressure on someone to uh, do all those things and do them correct, do them right
And
off the
then
bat.
10 times a day, 10 more
And
times a day.
yeah, exactly, and do it all day long, and hope that none of that stuff's happening. Hope that you're not hurting anyone, or nicking a dog, and the customer approves and they like what you did. Because as dog groomers, the one thing we really, really love is the recognition you get when you do a really nice haircut. Don't you love that, Amy? It's like, oh my God, he looks so beautiful. It's the one thing about this job that keeps you doing is if you need that, I need that. I like that. I'm a stage guy. I like when people like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Yep.
I hate me. I need someone else to like me. I don't know. It's psychological, but I love the recognition when you do a good job. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and the dogs know when you're proud of them too, because you know that they were working with you. They were working for you to please you on the grooming table. So when they get down and you're looking at your work and you're like, "Yeah, champ. Yeah, champ. You should wag that tail, champ. Look at you." And they're like, "Heck, yeah."
The
It's all
dog
good.
Yeah, the dog feels that the dog runs out into their owner and they're just so happy and they're wagging and they feel better. They're going to go home. They're going to get all of this like attention now because they smell clean and all that. And you're the one that did it. Like Anthony's the one that cleaned that dog up. And when you do get that approval, which is most of the time, don't get me wrong, it's very few and far between that people, don't approve of what you're doing. But when you get that approval, there's no other feeling. I mean, it feels so good. It's so rewarding to know
You're
that
right.
you're the one that got that dog all of its attention and love for that day anyway,
Yeah. So
You know,
what okay, so something that you considered a big struggle with as a newer groomer was confidence, and that makes perfect sense. We lack confidence of our abilities when we start because we're not exactly sure what our abilities are yet. We start getting in there and start grooming dogs, and we're like, I was made for this. Look
oh,
at me
yeah,
go. Look at me go. I'm second year groomer here. Look at me. I'm doing good. I'm 10-year groomer here. By the time I get to be 20-year groomer, 30-year, 40-year groomer, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
yeah,
So
right.
is that what the difference is from as a new groomer to today is the confidence?
That's it. It's all of the same struggles. You still have all those fears of hurting the dog, the approval, all of that, but you're just more confident in what you do. And a lot of it, like you just said, Amy, it just becomes muscle memory. Like sometimes I feel like I could do pads without even looking. You know,
Mhm.
and I do that, but I know I can because it's just I'm so good at it. I can do this better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? I can do this, maybe not you because you're a good girl, but I could do this. I'm so good with grooming a dog
Yeah.
that as far as confidence is concerned, I'm it's pretty much the only thing I'm confident in is dog grooming.
You're relying on it because you're like that confidence keeps you grooming because you can. And you
Yeah.
also know how to say no now because you've
Yeah.
had to do it. You know how to say, "I'm sorry, we don't work well together. I can't put this dog back on my schedule."
Yes.
We
Yeah.
used to never refuse anybody in the first few years of grooming.
Yeah. Yeah.
because you almost can't in the first few
Yeah.
years, but you
But you
can.
can.
You
Thank
should.
you.
You
Knuckle bump, but you can.
it feels like you can't, but
Yeah.
that a lot of that stuff was what was for me is you don't know any of the signs of anything that's about to happen to you. Signs meaning I could tell that dog is going to bite me, or I can tell that dog is going to be good. I could tell that dog's going to be bad on his pads, or not going to let us do his
Mhm.
bad in the tub, whatever. You don't know any of that stuff until, like, kind of you said it earlier, like it's like until you learn the hard way with
Yeah.
half the
Mhm.
stuff you know about cage shy until a dog that was just licking you in the face 5 minutes ago
Right.
is go now
He
because
changed his mind. Yeah, because of the environment or the situation he was in. Yeah.
yeah.
And reading dogs is so important. And I think that dog behavior should be taught with every grooming school and every grooming course that, for new groomers to learn how to approach dogs, what it means when a dog has their ears pinned down a little bit or their eyes are wide and bloodshot, what it
Yeah.
means when a dog's posture is of this
Mm.
versus this. I just think that it should be part of it, and it never seems to be part of grooming courses um, because they learn to groom and everything, and then they get sort of thrown to the wolves,
No pun intended.
right? No, no pun intended.
That's a really good point, Amy, because it's so important too.
Yeah.
The dogs, the signs of this and signs of that. You could stop a lot of bad things from happening just by picking up on. Dog will tell you. They just won't tell you with words. And unfortunately, that stuff doesn't get taught a whole lot. You're right. It's all
Yeah.
that teach people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, the next little subtopic I'm very excited to hear because I know I could appreciate this very much. So, Rudy, how long have you groomed dogs solo? Which we kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Anthony started in about what, 1990
No, he's
oh no, I would have
or
been
2003. I mean, 2003.
in 1990.
You weren't born. Maybe
No,
you were.
79. So I would have been almost one.
This is the year I graduated high school. Okay, so Rudy, how long had you groomed dogs solo without Anthony, and what struggles did you eliminate by now adding a team of groomers?
So I groomed solo from probably about 1985 to probably about 2003. And it was very difficult because I didn't have Anthony's support. Just grooming a dog alone. If I did have a dog that was, bad on its nails, I was getting bitten a lot. I was going through all that struggle. Anthony jumped when Anthony jumped on board into, like I say, 2003.
And that 2003, it was only Saturdays.
Yeah, it was only Saturdays.
I was
Yeah.
here starting in like 2008.
Yeah, it was.
So
yeah,
a long time you
yeah,
were by yourself.
by myself. Yeah, and it's lonely, Amy.
Oh, it is.
It's very lonely, and I guess you talk to the dogs a lot. But when Anthony jumped on board, it was a game changer because, again, like we said earlier, Anthony was just such a natural. It was like, wow, Anthony bathed, all those dogs. I don't have to bathe the dogs. You know what I mean? Anthony dried
Yeah.
the. It was such a time saver. And just Anthony just taking on that whole section of it took so much pressure off of me. And more than that, just having Anthony around,
Mhm.
just support me. If I'm having a hard,
Support.
I could talk to him about it. He's watching it, so he knows it's real. I'm not lying to him. When you're having a bad day as a dog groomer, nobody really understands that
Mhm.
except Amy.
You and the dog.
Yeah, you and the dog, man, and it can you'll lose sleep over it. If Anthony's here, man, he number one, he takes the pressures, a lot of the pressures of the job off of me, and just my psyche. We laugh all day. We're typical guys. We quote movies all day. We'll quote Ace Ventura all day.
All day.
Dumb and Dumber, you name it. We'll do impressions of Scarface all day long. That's all we do as we're.
But it makes you happy while you're doing a somewhat stressful job. Some dogs are more stressful to groom than others.
Yeah.
And on days that we're doing that, we'll get all the dogs done, and we'll forget how we even got them done. It'll be like, wow, day's over, we did all that, but we're laughing all day. So I don't know. Having Anthony here, I've become reliant on him, and we get along. We're not that father and son that don't get along. Me and Anthony.
No, I know.
We always say Anthony in a past life. Anthony was my dad.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, like
You guys you remind me more of brothers now. Now that Anthony's grown, you can have that kind of relationship with your son. And speaking of sons, fan art, we see you in the chat. That's little Rudy. Shout out to little Rudy. Fan art, is that what it's called? Fan arts by RV. That's Rudy V.
Subscribe to his channel, guys, please.
He's an artist.
He's a great artist. And he does these really cool 3D trick arts. So please subscribe to his channel.
Yeah. So we see you, baby. We love you. Yeah, I can imagine the support that offers you to have each other, even in a difficult situation. I over the years, I had some helpers with me, and I had one in particular. She worked with me for many years. Her name was Gloria. We really meshed together well. And just the conversations we would have while our backs were to each other. We were working, but we were still here, could talk. It just melted down a lot of the stress. If I needed her, Gloria, this dog is really, Gloria, the dog pooped. So I'm holding the dog up so I don't step in it. Yeah. And Gloria comes and cleans up the poop. It's hard to do when you don't have somebody else in the shop. You got to get the dog and
free in the cage. It's a 2-person job.
Yeah.
You got to got to clean the cage. It's so true.
Yeah, definitely. And I can imagine the relief.
Yeah, even calling people, filing cards, cleaning at the end of the day, rinsing out the tub, disinfecting all the cages. It's more than just grooming the dogs. And
it's a partner, friend, confidant.
And half of the time we're clipping nails on an unruly dog, Anthony holds them. Anthony will hold dogs for me like this, and
I'll clip comfortable.
Where I wouldn't be able to clip those nails if Anthony weren't holding the dog, So I love you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I totally can. I'm jealous. Having some. having somebody that you really trust and you really work well together as a team of groomers is the ideal situation.
Well,
It
maybe
is.
moving forward professionally, and again, we should do something, or we should do a seminar. I believe that dog groomers should have a groomer assistant.
So do
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, I mean, every dog groomer, it's just like a dental assistant. Dog
Mhm.
grooming is a lot like dentistry. We're hands on. We're working. You need an assistant for
Mhm.
this. Any
Mhm.
dog doing it alone, I did it alone too, and power to you. But we should change that. We should talk about
Yeah,
that.
I'm right there with you. So we'll start comparing notes and we'll get on that because I'll tell you what, Rudy, you have a beautiful salon that is capable of hosting seminars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe we'll do that. Like, maybe our the people that we're talking to will you know decide that that's something they want to see, and if it
Mhm.
is,
Yeah. If it
well,
is, guys, type it in the chat. Would you travel for to come to us for a day? There's seminars, pet grooming seminars going on all over the place in different people's shops.
yeah. I
And
mean,
as long as they've got 3 months notice, 4 months notice that you're saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the itinerary. This is what you're going to learn. We've got we've got 25 seats available.
yeah, yeah,
Who wants in?
yeah,
And they book them out all over the place. We could book this easily.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it would. I think it would be
Looky
beneficial.
there. Angie Root says, yes,
Yeah. I
she
All
can
see
right.
it
come.
already saying yes. I can see it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll make sure that's another thing I text them about all the time. Hey guys, want to do a seminar? Want to do a
Yeah.
seminar?
Yeah. Yeah. A couple days go by. Where's the seminar? How
Where's
come
it?
we're not doing
Where's
it?
the seminar? I'm coming. My bags are packed. I'm bringing Big Gus.
Oh, Gus. I miss Big Gus.
He loves you guys.
We
But
So,
love.
Big Gus and Little Gus.
yes, both of them. They're very different. Are you guys always respected as professional dog groomers by clients?
By our current clients, 99%.
Most of them.
By people who walk through the door, hell no.
No.
Some of it, it's not always cruelty. Sometimes it's just not knowing how difficult this is. But
Or
there
they think
are
it's not a real job? I mean, it's like that type of demeanor?
they think it's a magic trick. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people, not everybody. They think it's a ha, and
Yeah.
it's over. Great, no problem. How much like that.
Oh yeah.
Those um a lot of times whenever we give like this is it all makes sense. Like when we talk about like the general public, just pet owners, whenever one of my biggest pieces of advice to pet owners who don't know how to groom and are looking for a groomer, I always try to say, don't how much shouldn't be your first question. Like don't
No.
that's kind of like that turns groomers off a lot, like just because it's like there's so much more to this. Like, how if you're gonna interview a groomer, because groomers are interviewing you too as a pet owner.
That's right.
It's always like you should kind of come in more with like, how long have you been grooming? So and so. What kind of dog do you have? How long have you had the dog? Have they been and then you got a dialogue. The how much part, and it's important. I get it. Everybody, it's
No.
grooming cheap at good grooming anyway. So I get it. But
Yeah,
if it's
that is
first,
not that is a turnoff when that's the first question. Oftentimes, when that's the first question out of the gate, to be honest with you, I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to accept new clients right now." I'm like, I don't want to talk to you.
and I don't exactly it because we're too busy. Number one, and
Yeah,
Because a lot of times when that's the first question too, we hear it all the time. That person is more than likely a table hop, which is
yeah,
just they're
yeah.
just looking for a better price as opposed to a better groomer. You know
hmm
what I mean?
not loyalty for you and the pet.
Yeah, and when you add up like an extra $10 here and there, it's like, okay, yeah, $10 is not that much more money. Where,
Yeah,
okay, $10 more than the person down the road, but I'm a much safer, better groomer. Wouldn't you want to spend the extra
It should be a
$10?
no-brainer.
It should be a no.
absolutely. But there
Um,
are people that only consider, like you said, that pet groom is just something. Well, you're a pet groomer, you know how to do it. He's a pet groomer, he knows how to do it, and so is one down the street. I just got to pick which one. They don't realize what is going on there in the grooming salon with their dog and how it can go really bad if you don't have the right person in front of your dog to take care of their grooming needs. They
Yeah.
don't value that. So,
Another thing that bothers me is with the storefront is, I mean, I could be sitting there, doing a scissoring a poodle head, that a dog that I just got to calm down and let me do it finally. Like, he's staying still enough where I can scissor his head. And you'll have people walk through the door and go, "Oh my God, you do dog grooming. Oh, he's so cute." And they want to have a conversation with you. And it's like, man, and now the dog is just jumping off the
Oh
table.
yeah,
So that
dangerous.
that
Yeah.
part where people need to understand, this is not novelty, it's not a fun thing, this is a very serious job. And yes, I understand the dogs are cute, I get that, everybody wants to look at the cute puppy in the window. But when a dog groomer is grooming a dog, the last thing you should do is bother them
Yeah.
or get the dog excited. Have respect and maybe look from a distance or walk
Hmm.
away back later when the dog's not on the table. So I hope that people could understand that all it looks very fluffy and fun and everything, but it's really not. We got scissors in our hand, we got clippers. We don't want to hurt the dog. People
Yeah.
come making a fuss over how cute the dog looks can result in injury real quick. So
To the dog or the groomer, but with the dog, I mean, they are a dog. There are those dogs. Oh my
yeah,
God, my husband stuck his head in my window, scared the crap out of me. You
Alex.
creeper.
Hey,
There are those dogs that'll just stand there and be like, anybody want to look at me while I'm being groomed?
yeah,
Usually it's a poodle, or there's certain breeds that just like, yeah, look at me. But most of them know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that's a distraction.
yeah,
yeah, they want
yeah.
to go home. You
Yeah,
know,
they do. They do. Did you
yeah.
guys find that during COVID, did you feel a different sense of appreciation after COVID? We shut down, people found themselves groomerless. Do you feel like anything changed, like in the public's eye, as being how you're viewed as a groomer, as well as from your clients?
It took rock bottom though first, because being shut down in itself was the most insulting thing,
Yeah.
especially when there was that guy, he posted this article,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, it's
because
hard. We did a
because
video
yeah,
on
we did a video on it because people were like,
it.
people were mad that groomers were closed, and this guy decides to write a whole article making fun of as if
Making fun
like
of
they should
groomers,
should be
saying
closed.
that they should be closed because the last thing that we need is a fluffy dog in this hard time of COVID.
Yeah,
Oh God. Oh no, but what we do need is our dogs to be mad. This is somebody who didn't value pet grooming.
No,
not at all. He
not
was
at
making
all.
fun
Probably
of it.
didn't have a pet.
Right.
He was like, "Oh, there's people, there's got for, and it's sensitive, I know, but he was like so rude. Just there's
Oh
people,
yeah.
and then but like Poppy's puppy playhouse needs to be open." Like he was wording it so
Oh,
horribly.
God, that yeah. No, I get it. And there's always those people out there, but
It was terrible. But
Yeah.
the good thing was, the only reason why that idiot wrote that article was because people were pissed that groomers were closed, and
Yeah.
I was, as soon as the guidelines of who should be open, who should be closed came out, it said, I believe pet care and whatever was on they should remain
close.
open. Or
Oh, it
Oh,
said, was it in New Jersey? No, they were closed here.
they were closed, because at first I remember being like, "Oh, we're good,
yeah.
no problem. This
Yeah.
is going to be scary because there's all this going on. We're going to stay open, but it's really important, so we have to groom these dogs." But then it was like there was like an amendment or something,
Hmm.
and it was like,
Yeah.
that can't be true. That there has to have been some mistake. That dogs can't go.
No.
However, we didn't know if that was going to go on for another,
Months.
yeah, month. We couldn't. We were closed for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and it was we just caught up like a year ago to that.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, I know. It's
this was, and it wasn't about money. It didn't matter. It was
right.
that this dog's rear is so matted
Yeah,
it can't even poop correctly.
that's right.
This is not. People have children. This
Yeah.
dog, not the dog's fault. And it's not the owner's fault. They
It's
can't.
not. The
Yeah,
owners, a lot of people, they don't know how to do that, and that's why they always took their dog to a groomer. They had it covered, and so now they're panicking. They're like, and that's when my channel started to really grow, because people were like, I have to. He has feces stuck to his bum. I have to do this. How do I do it? And
yeah,
thankfully, channels like you and us
yeah.
Yeah.
help show them how to do that.
And
Yeah.
and I don't have to tell you how dangerous and scary sanitary clips are. That
Yes,
those are
they are.
like really important, very
Yeah.
scary. And now some poor 70-year-old woman with a high maintenance Shih Tzu is just no, grooming's not important. Yes, it is. The dog can't go to the bathroom. It was,
Right.
but the outpouring of love app. You're totally right. From that point on, all of the sudden people get it more. People watch us more. People watch you more. They want to learn more.
People
It's
respect pet groomers and say, man, you guys are skilled. I
Right.
hear that a lot. You have
Yeah.
such skills. They really appreciate it.
Gotcha.
I think COVID changed that a little bit for us.
it did.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I remember when we were going through it, our channel, because our channel was pretty new, as yours was too. We were
Yep.
only in maybe a year or so, and I remember our real time, Amy, our real views was like 300. It went up to 20,000.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand again that, dogs grooming is so necessary that within a 6 to 8 week period, your dog can develop severe ear infections, skin problems, you name it, feces on the butt. Within that,
Ingrown toenails
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
grow around.
right, ingrown toenails growing into the pad, causing severe pain to the dog. Grooming is an absolute essential necessity for our pets. There's no doubt about it. So
100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, this is the next fun part that I sort of prepared Rudy and Anthony for, but not a lot. But you guys, this is going to be a huge surprise. So
Okay.
Rudy and Anthony, you both are not only pet groomers. You host a podcast on Pet Life Radio, and you're video influencers on YouTube, but you also are stand-up comedians.
Hmm.
Can you role play a scene of what dog grooming looks like from the moment you begin a grooming session to the moment the owner picks up the dog upon completion? Rudy, you're the groomer.
okay.
Anthony, you're the dog.
Well,
What would this look like? Give us a comedy skit here. What would this look like the moment the dog comes to the groomer, comes back into the grooming salon, goes through all this process? What's the dog saying and thinking? And you might need to use a special voice. And what's the groomer saying and thinking?
I'm my job is going to be really easy here. Trust me. I might not be.
Hold on. Let me get my popcorn.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's the
I'm
dog.
ready.
Dog.
Okay.
I'm the dog. Okay, you're the
You're
groomer?
the dog.
Here, I'm the dog.
Okay. Well, well, thank you for dropping off your dog, Anthony, Mrs. Lee. Oh,
Oh yes, he's a good boy. He
is he?
doesn't bite all the time.
Yeah. Well, he seems to have pooped in my retail section already, and
Oh, I must have forgot my poop bag.
yeah, and he looks like he hasn't been groomed because he stinks in months. So let's start off by, I don't know, maybe spraying some preliminary spray just to get the smell off.
Are you disinfecting my dog?
Infecting him first, and get right into anal glands. Why don't we? That feel a little better. Good boy, buddy. Don't worry about it. I got you.
I can't hold the face.
I like the anal gland part.
Hold on, we haven't gotten to your privates yet. Wong, wong. Okay, good boy. Good boy. You're doing so
Man,
good.
I didn't want to break, and you broke me. Sorry, it could have went on a minute longer, but I couldn't. I couldn't not laugh.
Well, what's it like in the tub?
Do I really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it like, Anthony Dog and Dog Groomer Rudy? What's it like in the tub?
Well,
Wait.
most here, but be careful. Most dogs in the tub.
Yes, exactly.
Get over here, dog. Good boy. Get over here, nice and rinsed now.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. That's exactly, you nailed it. Anthony, you okay? You okay? Good boy.
That whole thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
The phone.
You did great.
Oh, sorry.
So
Is that-
that is often what it's like. I mean, I wanted to see you guys do that little skit because I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be hysterical.
It was a good.
I think he came out good.
Yeah.
He
Look,
did.
He looks like a Guido from New Jersey.
And at least he's not going to be rubbing his butt on my carpet for about 6 weeks, right?
Just 6 weeks.
Yeah,
That's
you did his anal glands. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, then you got to do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah, right. Then we go and start over. Guys, let's answer some questions. I'm sure there's a lot of questions for Rudy and Anthony. If you guys see one, pull it out and just start answering it. I'll keep looking too. I see, usually they'll put a line in front of it. Our beautiful people here. Here, this Too Much Mom says, where in New Jersey are you located, Anthony and Rudy?
We are in Colonia, New Jersey.
Woodbridge Township.
Woodbridge. Can I just mention how hilarious Court Jester is?
Yes, Court Jester would love to hear you say that.
Dude, just this entire show, they've just been saying funny stuff the whole time, and I'm seeing everything. They were talking about make sure you spay and neuter your humans.
Yeah. Court Jester is Court Jester's one of my moderators, so Court Jester has those permissions. But Court Jester is the lightheartedness in the chat, just the most fun-loving human, and we love Court Jester.
All right, let me go find some questions.
I see Ashley Hoot says, what is your favorite technique for dogs that hate their head scissored or clipped? Dog is fine for everything else. A dog that hates having anything done around the face, the head, clipper work, scissor work. Do you have any techniques or secrets you can share, guys?
Oh, well, try to put yourself in a position to do as little there as possible, I guess.
Save it for last.
Save for last.
Don't do it up front. Do everything else first and then focus on that. That might help. And do little bits at a time. Like if you can't get it all done in one shot, I don't know if you're a professional dog groomer or you're grooming at home, but if you're grooming at home, you have extra time. So
Ashley is She is a professional.
So if you're professional, you got to kind of have to get it done, but maybe trick the dog a little bit, like do like a little bit on the head. And I mean, a little bit, like maybe a few seconds, go to something else, come back, do another few seconds, go to something else, where you're just jumping off of the head. You're not staying on it, because when you stay on it too long, it's just going to cause a dog to get more and more agitated. So
that's great advice. So and you don't come at him like, I need you to hold still. I got the clipper. Hold on. Nope. If you give him time to think about that, look at this clipper. You're going to clip it. No, it's off. So clip around, top of the head, go back to the leg, top of the cheek, go back to the back. Don't like take your time and hey, hold still. I'm gonna do this. If you do, and they got a second to think about it, if they're reactive, they usually tend to get like, oh no. But sometimes once we make those little successful passes, they start to realize that it wasn't that big of a deal. Not all dogs do come around, but yeah.
That's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a real struggle, and that's what we're talking about here. Crystal says, are the individual clipper blades, the ones that you switch on and off, better than the clippers that you just click to adjust? So she's asking, does it matter? Is the detachable blade clippers the ones you take off versus the adjustable blade clippers? Does it matter? Is one better?
I would say it matters. I would use the detachable blades, 100%.
They're more professional. Those other ones are, they can actually become very dangerous with those other ones, because if you put it too short, you could nick the dog real easy. So when you're using the detachables, you have different blade sets. You have 7Fs, you have 5 blades, 4 blades, snap-on combs. You could work a lot safer. But yes, the detachable blades are definitely more professional.
Detachable blades keep you disciplined because you have a much less of a chance of forgetting to switch your blade if it's an actual movement, and not accidentally shaving whatever, doing something somewhere with a 40 blade or something that
That's right.
a 10 or 30,
Yeah.
so
Much,
switching your blades keeps your head in the game too.
yeah, safer.
Oh, that's great advice. I totally agree with that. As well as I just feel like sometimes the job requires for a powerful
Hmm.
detachable blade clipper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just capable of more things. It's more
Yeah,
professional. You'll get a better cut out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. All right, let's just see. You guys see any in there? You want to shout
I
anything out?
thought I did,
Let me
but
see.
we just did. Oh, fine. You can't read
Um,
anyway, even though you have your
Oh,
glass.
even with your glasses on.
Even
I
when
don't
you
know
got your
why.
stuff, you got your stuff. Uh,
I see too much. Mom has another question. I have one problem child, a dog, a rescue Shih Tzu Maltese, who needed to be medicated with Valium before a groom. Can't you suggest that the pet parent do that before they bring the dog in?
uh, do dogs take Valium? Yeah.
Well,
And they don't do doggy Valium anymore. It can stop a heart, but they do a mild Ativan, and
yeah,
there's some other things that they give dogs vet prescribed for dogs that are really afraid of certain things.
I
Um,
would suggest that though, because it should be administered either by the vet or the owner.
yeah.
Um, you're doing it yourself. You're taking a big risk because
Hmm.
that becomes a liability. If somebody, I would refuse that. If somebody
I
asks,
would want them to do it 20
yeah,
years before they came.
yeah, you do it. It's your dog, because God forbid the dog has a reaction to it, or God forbid the dog even dies. You could be held liable. They're going to say you did
You
it.
administered it.
You administered it. So
That's
yeah,
a good point, Rudy. And you're better safe than sorry. It's not the job for the pet owner. And hey, it's like this: if your dog is medicated or not medicated, and I can't successfully and safely groom it, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to tell you I can't groom your dog.
yeah,
It,
sure.
it it that is an unfortunate truth. It happens a lot. It happens more often than people would even think. A lot of dogs don't like getting groomed.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there's usually some reasons for that, whether it was something in the early socialization stages, if the dogs had, some type of fear ingrained in it for some reason, and we don't know. And often the pet owner doesn't know either. So we really can't figure it out. But what we do know is the dog goes into a complete hysterical state of mind when they're feeling that way. And it's just too risky for us as professionals to say, I'm going to put your dog through that.
Well, you just saw it firsthand with how Anthony
Yeah.
reacted when I tried to groom
It
him.
was
It was,
Mhm.
awful. I'm gonna train with him when he gets home. No worries.
Learning curve.
yeah,
It's a learning.
you need a tranquilizer.
All right, I found one. Uh, how do I train my dog not to be afraid of the clipper? White eagle. A lot of that.
Cool name.
Yes, that is a cool name.
Jeez.
That a lot of that starts early. Like when we get puppies, for example, and when it's our first time doing them, you know how it can be, Amy, where not a whole lot gets accomplished other than meeting, and a lot of time you'll introduce the clippers
Yeah,
by
you
you
you,
tell
you
me.
kind of dummy clipper it. You
Mhm.
what you don't put a blade on. You run the clippers and you just kind of pass the clipper over your dog and scratch its head at the same time, so that they can hear it, they can feel the vibration of it. So you're not doing any blade work, you're not doing any clipper work. You're just really just acting. The clipper's just making the sound, and at least if they go to bite it or something like that, they're not biting a blade because you don't have a blade on it. You can even put like a rubber piece. I kind of invented this thing. I use it from time to time. It's a rubber piece that I put over the clipper, Amy, to create like a dummy clipper. But
Yeah,
that's one way to do it. You
that's
know.
smart.
Sound.
Small
Yeah.
doses. So small doses. Good boy. Touch him. Good boy. Have him stand up again. Run the clipper with no blade. Dogs feel that vibration, and sometimes it's a vibration that they're minding. So
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, here's the vibration. Ah, good boy. Now we're just up to touch, stand, clipper again. It's a slow process to desensitize a puppy. A puppy has to be desensitized to
Yeah.
clippers.
Yeah.
Not normal for them.
Right. Right.
So it's a
Especially.
process.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll find it challenging with like Shih Tzus that have like this really long hair growing under their eyes that you have to get out. You might not want to use a clipper. Sometimes you'll get in there with some thinning shears at first just to get some off. If you have a Shih Tzu, that's a problem a lot of times.
Mhm.
Thinning work, but yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So we just try to ease them into grooming slowly. So the worst thing you could do as a pet owner, guys, with a puppy is wait till your puppy is 5, 6 months old to really come in for a full groom. At that point, they need a full haircut, but they also need a full bath. They need their nails trimmed. They need a blow dry. They need a brushing. You're asking a lot of your puppy, even at 5, 6 months old. He's never been groomed. To wait until then to be groomed, it's not going to be an easy job for the puppy or for the groomer.
White Eagle just said too that as soon as he turns the clippers on, the dog runs away. You might want to invest in a
Yeah,
grooming
grooming table.
table. Get your dog on a grooming table so that you have control over the dog. And if you're chasing your dog around with the clippers, it's definitely not going to work.
No,
So
no.
invest in a grooming table, and this.
They make portable grooming tables, very affordable. They have the grooming arm, and you need your dog on a loop at all times. Never leave your dog unattended on a grooming table. And this is a great practice place for you to brush. So if you are going to go to a groomer and take your dog to a groomer, you can buy a portable grooming arm and hook it up to your dining room table or your kitchen island. Just the arm. So you spend $30
Sure.
to teach your dog to behave in a certain place for grooming. Go Groomer husband's picking on you, Ann.
Alex. No, you know what? We're in trouble. Everybody's yelling at. We forgot Yvonne Ray as his.
Yvonne, I see that. She says, have you ever had to fire a client?
I've fired Anthony many times.
Have you ever had to say, I am not going to be your groomer again?
Oh, fire a client. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought she said the same thing.
Sorry about that, Yvonne.
Client.
Have you ever had to fire? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of times.
Yeah.
What were some of those situations like?
Oh, you name it. We've had the worst.
Everything under the sun.
We've had people come in yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
How dare you? Can't groom my dog. You're terrible. You suck. You piece of crap. I mean, you. In the long history of our careers, we've heard it all.
Yeah, we've had.
Now, what do you say to somebody like that?
Please leave.
We're so sorry. We just can't. We can't.
Please,
you have to find another groomer. Is what we do.
Do they pay you? They better.
Well, it depends. If we don't. First of all, if we can't complete a grooming, we don't charge people for their time. Some groomers do that.
You should.
We can. We just don't unless we did something. There's dogs that are here, kind of like he said. It's like you gave it a half hour. Dog's just not taking it. We didn't even touch the dog. We just don't. You
don't charge. Yeah. I know there's certain situations where you would let it go, but if you gave it a Hail Mary, you had bathed the dog, you brushed the dog, you dried the dog, and you got so far as to, clipper work, and the dog, went into a panic mode. Obviously, we have to stop.
If it was that much work, especially if we got to the point of bathing your dog and we just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta.
Another thing, if Yvonne is a professional groomer, you might want to definitely have release forms for all of that. We have all new clients sign release forms. It's very, very important in this day and age, guys. Get your release forms out, have people sign them, because and part of our release form is that we are allowed to say during a grooming that we have to stop. Because you don't, and it happens very often where you start grooming a dog and then you just can't finish it, and the dog goes home looking really, really dumb now, and that will annoy people. So release forms are very important.
There you go. And guys, you can make your own. You can just type it up on your computer and print it out, or you can go down to your local library. If you don't have a computer and a printer, you can go to your local library. Typically, you always have access to a computer and printer there. Type something up, go online. There's thousands of free templates online to do anything. And type something up and have the client sign it, and just cover yourself a little bit to say, look, I have every intention of doing right by you and your dog, but there's the slight chance this may not happen today.
Absolutely.
Uncle Sam's niece has a real good one.
I love Uncle Sam's niece. I was going to see if you were going to approach that. I think I know what your answer should be to that question.
Tips for clipping nails that have around the pad. Any things to beware of?
So they have grown around the pad, so they curling up and back in, or
That,
getting close to being in.
yeah. You know when that happens a lot? When you close groomers for 6 weeks. But that's, I digress.
Yes. And you're gonna need an LED light for that.
And you're gonna need an LED.
I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Uncle Sam's need to get yourself an
Yeah.
LED light. What else could we say? That's all you
Now,
need.
don't. She's actually asking for our
Oh.
advice. She probably believes that. No LED light, not the answer.
We're kidding about the LED light.
Boy, so there's a lot of stuff about that. God,
Usually some of our clippers, like, you have to get a clipper that opens. Give me a sec. Hold on. Give me another sec.
Amy's running
yeah,
around her
that needed sound effects real bad.
Okay, so my Miller's Forge clipper, it does not actually open all the way. If a nail is growing into the pad or just slightly into the pad, my favorite clipper I cannot use for that because it will not open and get around the nail down in here. I have to go with one of these other ones that I do not like, but see how it opens all the way. I can actually get in there and trim that nail. So you have to, don't go too far. So you just want to go right under where it's in the pad, clip it. You're safe to assume you're not going to quick it there.
Vein's not going to be all the way up there.
Yeah. And then from there, once you get that issue out of there, start slowly, receding back to shorten that nail, little bits at a time. Like,
yeah. I would also say, just to be on the safe side, I would muzzle the dog, not closed mouth, just basket muzzle,
or cone,
or a Elizabethan collar like we put on the dog sometimes. The cones.
Oh, those are great. The collars,
Just because that hurts, and it doesn't matter how sweet the dog is. It's unfortunate, but you just don't know how that dog's going to react. It might hurt. It might really hurt it. It might yelp. Especially if it's really, really digging in there. We've seen curled nails that aren't going right into the pad, or we just got there in time.
Yeah.
Just be on the safe side. You don't want the dog to you don't want it to really hurt. If it's all the way dug in the pad, there's going to be a hole there. It might be some blood. They probably should go to the vet after to avoid it. And just protect yourself.
And have quick stop on hand.
Yeah.
Too. If you do hit a
not for the pad, for the nail.
For the nail, yeah.
Have quick stop ready so that if you do hit a vein and it starts to bleed, you can pack it with the pick stop.
You can pack it with the pick stop.
With the quick stop.
Go back to the pick stop
right away.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Have it on hand. Great advice, Rudy. And I'd advise everybody just have quick stop on hand anytime you're trimming nails. Have it right beside you in case you need it.
1,000. That's like
always.
What that's such an easy thing to forget too.
It is.
Tell people. I mean, like I couldn't imagine when we start getting slightly low on quick stop. It's tense around these parts. It's like, oh my God, I have to make an order.
And it's not that, hey, Rudy and Anthony are so inexperienced. They quick every nail. No, but I want to tell you guys, just that instant, a dog can twitch a little bit. It can happen. We're talking millimeter is what determines if we quick a nail or not. It can easily happen.
Oh, yeah.
We're pretty good at avoiding it, but it does happen, and it doesn't mean we quick the nail. That it's
right. That would.
It means a little blood comes to the surface.
That's
stop the bleeding. Not a.
Yeah,
not typical in a professional grooming salon.
There's where you'll be like, how the hell did I hit the vein? Because it's like I could see them without an LED lights. Go figure. I don't know how. Like, I didn't hit the vein. Why is this bleeding?
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Some dogs have a very long, thin quick.
Yeah.
So where you can see it, you're like, I see it, but it's got a long hook on it. Mm-hmm. You can't see that.
And a lot of times when nails grow on a lot of dogs, the vein also grows with the nail. It almost has like this effect, like if you're pulling a rubber. So if the nail is growing, the vein is also growing. So you have to work on getting that quick back by cutting the nails. But that a lot, where the vein is also growing with the nail.
Yes, it does. And especially a dog that often does not have its nails trimmed, you're going to have a dog that has a long quick. So if you never trim your dog's nails and you're wondering how this is going to go, I want you to assume that your dog has a long quick. So take just a little tip and see how you did with that.
That's the perfect advice to give somebody who's cutting their dog's
Little
nails
by
for the
little.
first time or
Figure it
an
out.
experience. Assume your quick is all the way to the front of the nail.
Yeah. Figure it's out there, man. The quick's out there waving at everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got
Yvonne's back.
Hi, Yvonne.
Do you ever find that quick stop stings when applying? Does it? I don't think so.
You know,
If you
sometimes
cut it way too short, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you hit a vein badly and you put the quick stop
they're
on,
gonna move away.
and you know, when you apply quick stop, you kind of have to pack it. You have to push it,
And you have to hold it there.
you have to hold it there. So if you're even the pushing is hurting the dog too. If you
Because you quicked it so far.
so
I'm not sure if it's the quick stop that hurts or if it's just the nail was cut too short that hurts.
pushing on the nail, that's hurting. But yeah, that definitely can happen. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's the quick stop, you know, burning, or you just the pressure, you know, definitely.
One of two is causing that pain.
Sure.
Well, guys, we have kept you for an hour and a half.
Oh,
and we are so thankful that you came to our grooming table from your grooming table, and we loved every moment of this, and hopefully we can do more. Anthony and Rudy and I were talking before we actually went live. We were in the live waiting room, and we were saying, hey, maybe sometime we should have a groomer social hour, plan that where it's just us all talking, maybe having a drink together.
Yeah.
And plan it and have a live stream like that.
I would love that.
Me too. Absolutely.
We can get right to work planning that because
we can put that on top of the list. Okay, I'll be texting you. I'll text you.
I was just gonna say you'd probably text me later.
I will. Okay. We just adore you and we're so thankful, and I want everybody to know that I've linked Rudy and Anthony's YouTube channel called Grooming by Rudy. And it's in the description below, as well as Pet Life Radio, their podcast. Fantastic. You will love it. If you love these two and love the humor and their sense of humor and just their personalities that you saw today, that's what you're going to get there on their podcast on Pet Life Radio, Groomer Humor. So, guys, next live stream is scheduled for March 27th. It's a 5:30 live stream. It's in 2 weeks. The topic is 5 things you may be doing wrong as a beginner pet groomer.
That's a good. I'm going to tune in.
Good topic.
I'm going to tune into that. Yes, I'm going to tune in too.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys once again. Thank you, audience, for being here. It's been a long live stream, but it's been a fun one. And I really appreciate you guys. And I appreciate the love and support that you brought for Rudy and for Anthony. And I know most of my followers follow you guys too. So you're not really new faces to all of us, but we love you and we thank you.
We love you guys right back. All of you, every single one of you.
Thank you.
And we love our audience, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. And Rudy and Anthony, I will see you in the chat messages that I'm going to blow your phone up soon. So love you guys.
Amy, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. I love you. I love Rudy and Anthony, and everybody have a fantastic 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.